So, imagine my wife, Sarah, jogging through our quiet Texas neighborhood, Willow Creek, sun barely up, when two cop cars screaming, lights blazing, guns out, yelling like she's a fugitive on the run, all because our HOA tyrant, Karen Mitchell, decided our roses were too red for her perfect little kingdom. Sarah, cool as ice, raises her hands and says, clear as day for her smartwatch to catch badge numbers. Fake cops go to prison, you know. Those guys had no clue they just poked a sleeping lion, and what started as a petty HOA spat was about to burn Karen's world to the ground. I'm Jake Turner, and 4 months ago, Sarah and I thought we'd found paradise in Willow Creek. I was fixing bikes at my new shop, Sarah was teaching yoga, and our little house with its big yard felt like home until Karen marched up one Saturday, clipboard in hand, looking like she was about to fire half of Wall Street. Mr. Turner, she said, her smile so fake it could have been Botox, we've got violations to discuss. Our lawn was a smidge too long, our mailbox was off-palette, and those roses. Unapproved. She slapped us with a $400 fine and said, fix it in 48 hours, or else. I thought it was a joke, but Karen's I said otherwise. I run Willow Creek, she snapped, and strutted off like she owned our souls. Sarah heard it all from the kitchen, and when I walked in, her face wasn't mad, it was focused, like she was sizing up an opponent. Sarah used to train sheriff's deputies, reading people like open books, and she saw right through Karen. Jake, this woman's not just bossish dangerous, she said, her voice low. That night, while I dug into HOA rules and found half of Karen's laws were made up, Sarah was outside, quietly setting up security cameras. Just in case, she said, climbing down from a ladder. I raised an eyebrow. You think she's coming for us? Sarah didn't blink. People like Karen don't stop, they escalate. Next morning, 2 a.m., our phone rings. Mr. Turner, Karen's voice slithered through, cold as a snake, my inspection team's coming at 8. Let them in, or you'll regret it. She hung up before I could argue. Sarah and I sat there, staring at the dark, knowing our dream home was now a war zone. The next week was her daily violation notices for nonsense like crooked parking or overly fragrant barbecue. Karen fined us $1,000 in 5 days, trying to break us. Sarah stayed calm, her cameras rolling, knowing this was psychological warfare. She wasn't buckling, she was plotting. Then it got scary. Wednesday, this guy Vince Russo shows up, all tattoos and fake cop uniform, badge so cheap it looked like a cereal box price. HOA enforcement, he growled, hand on a gun under his jacket. Karen says you're trouble. I nearly laughed. HOA enforcement. That's not real. But he smacked and that gun weren't funny. I need to inspect your house, he said, stepping closer. My military instinct screamed danger, but before I could react, Sarah was there, eyeing him like a hawk. Morning, Vince, she said, polite but deadly. Real cop. Because that badge looks homemade. Vince squirmed, mumbling, HOA business. Sarah's smile could have frozen lover. Thought so. Karen wasn't just after us, turned the neighborhood against us. At an HOA meeting, she called us the plague, claiming we'd broken 40 rules. Neighbors we'd barbecued with started shunning us. My shop lost customers. Sarah got glares at the store. Only MS. Evelyn, our 70-year-old neighbor, saw through it. Karen's bullied 3 families out before you, she whispered. She's a monster. That's when Sarah's old colleague, Tom, a sheriff's deputy, changed the game. She had him run Vince's name. Turns out, he was a fired mall guard with a rap sheet, not a cop. Sarah didn't confront him, she went bigger. She called Karen, voice shaky, maybe we'll just move. Give us a week. Karen, smug, but it. Smart choice, she purred, then told Vince to keep the heat on. Big mistake. Sarah added more cameras, set her phone to speed dial Tom, and said, Jake, tomorrow's gonna be wild. Trust me. I nodded, realizing my wife was a badass I'd underestimated. Vince, thinking he'd won, planned a tactical raid to scare us out, texting his foreman crew except he accidentally included Sarah. She saw their 6 a.m. plan and texted Tom, fake cops, armed, my house, 6 a.m. At dawn, our doorbell exploded with bangs. Four guys in tactical gear, guns out, screamed, police. Open up. I opened the door, spotting fake badges and wrong patches. Warrant? I asked. Vince shoved past. You're under arrest for HOA harassment. Sarah stepped up, staring down his gun. Threatening me while impersonating a cop. That's a decade in federal lockup. Vince's hand shook, but he doubled down. MS. Evelyn, watering her roses, saw it all, called 911, and recorded everything. Karen, watching from her SUV, panicked as her plan imploded. Then, sirens real cops rolled in, badges legit, voices calm but firm. Drop the guns. Vince's crew collapsed, cuffed and done. As they were hauled off, Vince spat at Sarah, Karen's got friends. You're screwed. Sarah didn't flinch. Karen's finished. Karen tried to shred evidence and lawyer up, but the neighborhood turned. At a packed HOA meeting, Sarah played our footage Vince threats, Karen's voice ordering the raid, bank records of her payments. Residents stood, sharing their own horror stories, fines for kids' toys, threats over wrong paint. MS. Evelyn lit the room up. Karen, you're a dictator who terrorized us. Karen screamed, I am the law, but Sarah shot her down, voice like a blade, you're a bully, and you're done. We voted her out, and as she stormed off, cops walked in. Karen Mitchell, you're under arrest. Handcuffed before everyone she'd crushed, her empire was dust. Karen got 3 years for conspiracy and fraud, banned from HOAs forever. Willow Creek came alive, new families, my shop booming, Sarah teaching self-defense citywide. One night, we sat on our porch, kids playing in the street, neighbors laughing. What it? I asked. Sarah squeezed my hand. Every second. This is home. But here's the kicker, was Karen pure evil, or did our fight push her over the edge? Could we have talked her down? I don't know. What do you think? Ever faced a Karen or an HOA nightmare? Drop your stories below, I am all ears, especially if you've got receipts. So, imagine my wife, Sarah, jogging through our quiet Texas neighborhood, Willow Creek, sun barely up, when 2 cop cars screaming, lights blazing, guns out, yelling like she's a fugitive on the run, all because our HOA tyrant, Karen Mitchell, decided our roses were too red for her perfect little kingdom. Sarah, cool as ice, raises her hands and says, clear as day for her smartwatch to catch badge numbers. Fake cops go to prison, you know. Those guys had no clue they just poked a sleeping lion, and what started as a petty HOA spat was about to burn Karen's world to the ground. I'm Jake Turner, and 4 months ago,